I have no idea what's happened. Steel Bonsai does say, "Oh no, who hasn't paid the bill?" Well, I hope we have. It looks like a back. I love the internet. Can you all hear me? Are we good? Is this good? Are we good? I think we're good. Yes, good. Nice.
Someone wants to cancel us already. It's only the 5th of January.
Bit of a melodramatic way of demonstrating that the lights have gone off. This is what happens if you guys don't sub and kill the stream.
No news for you today.
Danielle stood out there with an axe, stood next to the router. Now?
Yeah, no trainers.
So yeah, I don't know if the stream got hit with a lockdown. Yeah, tier 6. Damn! Tier 6, you're not even allowed to stream to other people. Yeah, I don't know if that actually came through. I was just thanking Thomas for the sub and then letting people know that you need to be a sub, you need to be in Discord, and you need to, in the Discord settings, link your Twitch and your Discord account so that you can get into the loot drop. That's what I said. I don't know if it got through before it cut off, but I'll say it again just in case. But yeah, anyway, melodrama aside, let's jump into some news. I think that's what we're all here for. Nice. Making sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I did. Well, I didn't. I mean, I caught up on it, but Wes says, "Happy New Year, you handsome devils." I didn't actually read that out, but thank you very much, dude. Same message to everyone else as well. G, where did you get that t-shirt from? That's mint. This t-shirt, my SNES t-shirt, it's actually really expensive. It cost me about £6 from a very high-end shop called Primark. It's just a Primani special. I think it is. I can't see my leg. I'll double check, but I think it's just a Prime Money special, like £6 kind of thingy. So there you go.
Have you tried looking at your neck?
I was trying to look at my tag in the camera, but I couldn't see it. So who's Mel?
I can't see what you're looking at. I just heard your voice go funny, so I thought you were dragging your t-shirt around the front of your face.
No,
have a look.
I was trying to look at it in the stream preview so I could see what it says. I can see a Super Nintendo logo, but I can't see what it says. So yeah, it's cheap as chips. It's good shit though. It's nice material. Anyway, who's Mel or Drama? Says Chappers, and on that bombshell, Chappers, you've got the sword of power. Can you ban yourself, please? Thank you. Good morning, Chappers. How's things, dude? Anyway, news. Let's jump in. I say let's jump in. Let me just refresh Chrome because it's a pain in the ass. There we go. Okay, first news story of the day. A little bit different. I mean, it's kind of a bit different actually. Before we jump into the story, let's jump into the split screen so we can crack on. Yeah, the first news story of the day is a little bit different in the fact that it's not necessarily about the next-gen consoles that we would usually be talking about, but it kind of is as well. So this is written by Tom Ivan at VGC, and it says, Analysts expect the Switch to outsell the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles in 2021, boosted by a new Pro model. Just want to stop for just a second there and say Bibby has been calling this Pro model for about 2 years, by the way. So VGC, you're welcome. You should have just asked Bib. It's called it for 2 years or something. Industry observers forecast another strong year for Nintendo's consoles, says the tagline. Multiple analysts have forecast that Nintendo Switch will be the best-selling console of 2021, offering predictions for the year ahead in GamesIndustry.biz. In a GamesIndustry.biz article published on Monday, 3 industry observers suggested Nintendo's near 4-year-old platform will outsell Sony's and Microsoft's latest consoles, which have been supply constrained since launching in November 2020. 2 of the analysts, Ampere Analysis' Piers Harding Rolls and Kantan Games' Dr. Seikan Toto also forecast that a new Switch model will help drive strong sales for Nintendo systems this year. I expect Nintendo Switch's family of devices to be the best-selling consoles again in 2021, following a very strong 2020, said Harding Rolls. Last year, I was unconvinced there would be a new flagship model for Switch in 2020, but it makes more commercial sense to release an updated version in 2021. I currently have an updated version of the Switch in my forecasts for 2021. Harding Rolls expects Switch to sell approximately 24 million units this year, and combined PS5 and Xbox Series X sales to hit 25 million. Kantan Games Toto predicts Nintendo will launch a beefed-up 4K Switch model during its next financial year, which begins in April 2021. Everybody expecting the Switch to run out of steam in 2021 is in for a bitter disappointment. Why would you be disappointed? Anyway, he said, the Switch will be the best-selling console this year as well, driven by more first-party games, a hardware refresh, and the device having developed into a lifestyle product for the mass market over the course of 2020. The MPD Group's Matt Piscatella, these names, I swear, I should have just let Bibby read this article.
Nope, we never got through it.
Excuse me. The MPD Group's Matt Piscatella also expects Nintendo's console to come out on top in 2021. Despite the launch of the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles, it will be the Nintendo Switch that ends up selling the most units of console hardware in 2021, he predicted. I will go a step further and suggest that this will be driven by content and promotional efforts rather than the release of a new iterative model. Multiple outlets have reported that Nintendo is preparing to launch new Switch hardware in early 2021 and that it might feature upgraded computing power and support for 4K graphics. Okay, we can leave it there. We get the idea. We know what they're saying. So, industry experts are saying that the Switch will outsell PS5 and Xbox Series X and S consoles, partially down to new games, partially down to sales, and partially down to a potential new 4K beefed up Pro model. Bib, thoughts?
Well, when I was pulling the articles this morning, my immediate thought when I read the title was exactly what Wes was saying. Is it because it's near impossible to find a next-gen console? And I think that has a massive part to play in it. I think Nintendo have been very, very quick to replenish stock as soon as they've kind of depleted in stores. They've been quite quick to get them through production, get them made up, get them shipped out, and get them on store shelves for people to be able to buy, whether that be digitally or physically in a shop that you can just go to now to go pick one up. So I think they've done very well in trying to keep that stock replenished. However, PlayStation and Xbox at this moment in time, you mentioned to me this morning that Xboxes have been replenished in certain places, but they inevitably went as fast as they got put up there. But yeah, I think the Switch has kind of been ticking over. I think the Pro model, that has to be the next step for them. I think it's the hardest step. It's okay for, like, I don't know, a PlayStation or an Xbox to be able to put a brand new graphics card in, up the CPU usage, put a bit more RAM in there, add all the teraflops that you could possibly imagine, and get it on a store shelf. Whereas this is a portable gaming unit. Do you know what I mean? So battery life plays a massive part because it would have to be plugged in maybe after an hour of playing a 4K game, maybe even less than that, in the palm of your hands with a console like that. 4K game is going to rinse that battery so fast. You're like, it basically only has to be 4K if you was to put it into
A dock.
the dock. That's the only way probably that you'll be able to get the power and the battery life, shall we say, just to keep the power running through it constantly. So I think that's the biggest challenge, and this is why I think a lot of people are potentially cutting Nintendo a bit of slack in that department, because it's so much technology having to go into. I mean, mobile phones nowadays, they are getting faster and faster, bigger, better, cameras through the roof on it, and the advancement in those is pretty much every single 6 months. We're getting a new update in a phone, especially with the iPhone or whatever. You seem to be getting a new iteration every 6 months or so. So it's interesting to see where this is going to end up. Pro model is definitely the way to go for them. We've already made a revision of the original Nintendo Switch in terms of the light version, as well as a better battery in the standard version. So they've already making tweaks and changes to them. It's just where we can see ourselves in the next 12 months. It's a bold statement to say that Nintendo will be the best-selling console this year, but in terms of competition, if it's the only console available to be able to buy, then it's going to win hands down. But if the production line of the PlayStation and Microsoft products start to come down the line, it's a highly demanded product. I think it will still outsell the Switch. I don't think there's any two ways about that.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, supply and demand has to be a big part of it. They were saying in this that it will be heavily down to sales and marketing and maybe a new version of the Switch, the Pro, and I mean, that's all well and good. They might add to the 24 million expected, but if PlayStation can only manufacture 12 million consoles, then it's not going to sell more. It's as simple as that. It's horses for horses.
Numbers, can you?
Yeah, exactly. The only way you can compare that relatively is percentage-wise. If PlayStation sell 24 million. PlayStation and Xbox combined sell 25 million, but the Switch on its own sells 24. Then that's great. But if Switch sells 70% of the consoles, whereas they max out 100%, then there's still different demographics. So the headline is kind of saying the Switch is going to outsell. So technically, yes, it will outsell. Doesn't necessarily mean it's been a better excuse me, a better console, a better sales period for that specific console. In truth, they're all going to absolutely milk it. And the interesting thing about this article is it was posted at 3 minutes past 8 last night. At that point, Boris was talking about tier 72 or whatever we're in now, and saying that we're all going to be back into lockdown. That will do. I mean, we can in the UK, we can't really do anything until March now, which is 2 months. So if there was PS5 and Xbox stock there now, expect scalpers to be in overdrive, because that is that sort of situation where they can thrive. And I'll move away from the scalpers because it's a negative side of the conversation. But basically, there will be more consoles sold again because we are forced to be staying indoors now for the next 2 months. So until March, we're going to be indoors. So expect Switches. What's that?
You see West comment, Danny Ings had scored by 3 minutes.
Yeah. GG West, GG. I appreciate that. I'm just gutted that United don't play until next Tuesday, so we can't even capitalise on it until then because we've got like City on. Is it Wednesday? And then
tomorrow, yeah.
What day is it? Oh, we're on Tuesday. Oh yeah, City tomorrow. Then FA Cup Saturday, and then we'll play again next. Anyway, football aside. So yeah, the Switch will sell a shitload purely because it has a lot more. If they have 2 separate models coming, so they have their normal production line and then they add a pro production line to it, obviously it gives them a lot more potential to sell there. I mean, I don't necessarily. I think there's a few other things as well in there. In terms of the Switch is obviously going to be cheaper than the PS5, especially if you're spending 900 quid to get a PS5, like everyone's having to do these days.
And on the light version.
What's that?
And on the light version's a lot cheaper than the standard docked version.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, basically there will be a lot of Switches sold, a lot of PS5s, and a lot of Xboxes. It's just they will all sell. Comment from Bibby earlier though, saying that Xboxes have gone live today. I don't know if there's any left, but check out very.co.uk. I know the X's had gone, so if you are after an Xbox, very.co.uk had Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S and PS5 media remote stock this morning. So if you are after that stuff, check very.co.uk out. They may have all gone by now. It was about an hour ago maybe that the stock went live, so it's probably all gone. But check it.
I panic bought yesterday.
What did you buy?
Because I can't go to the. I played a round of golf yesterday, obviously with Scoop, and I went straight to the golf course. They've got the golf courses again now, aren't they? So I've ended up buying this Fee Golf, it's called, and you basically plug this little dongle into the top of your golf club, or you get a golf club with it, like a half-sized one. It's like a Bluetooth dongle, but you beam the game onto your TV or onto your phone. But I can plug my phone into my projector outside, and it's like playing like a simulator. You know, you go to like a proper golf simulator. It's like one of those, but you swing the golf. 200 quid it was, but it's a worthy investment at this moment in time. But I'm part of the panic buy culture. I was like, oh my god, what am I going to do now for the next 2 months? So yeah, I bought one of them, so you can expect me to be in the back garden most nights now, swinging half a golf club with a little nub thing at the top of it.
That's what we like to see. Do you know what? I expect a live stream of this. Maybe that's actually I can't mention that yet. Maybe that's what we could do on later in the month.
Yeah. I was just thinking then, like, I don't know how I'd be able to do it. Surely I'll be able to do it off my phone, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I've seen a naming it Eternal Steph. I haven't seen that naming it before, so good morning, Steph.
Good morning, Steph. Steph was streaming last night on Insert Coin, so I dropped in, gave a host, and had a little bit of a chat while she played through Immortals Phoenix Rising. So good morning, Steph. Welcome in. Thank you very much for following back as well last night as well. Just noticed that in the feed, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I've seen Asim playing that. He said that he loved it.
Yeah,
I was asking advice on that actually.
Yeah, I was asking. Well, I asked Steph what her thoughts on it were, because obviously we have been watching it since it was Gods and Monsters, and there's been a lot of comparisons. Even yesterday in Steph's stream, actually on Insert Coin, there was a lot of comparisons. Oh, I say a lot. There was at least one. I wasn't in there for the longest time, but there was one comparison to Breath of the Wild, because when we were watching it, I was sat next to Danielle and I said, this game, Immortals Phoenix Rising, gets compared a lot to Breath of the Wild. And then as I said that, someone in the chat said, oh, this looks like Breath of the Wild. I was thinking, that must be, every time someone plays this game, someone must be in the chat saying, this looks like Breath of the Wild. But anyway, actually, speaking of...
I've got one more comment. I was just seeing Vern, and this is Nintendo all over for me. Just got a Switch off the missus for Christmas. I must say, I think it's a fantastic console. It captures the essence of gaming for me, and is a nice relief to the competitive nature of PlayStation, Xbox games. That is the most perfect Nintendo statement I think I've ever heard in my life.
See, I would rebox that a little bit. I, for me, agree with it, but I would change it to a single player element. So I've had the exact same sort of feeling. So last year we got Luigi's Mansion 3, and me and Danielle played through a little bit of Luigi's Mansion 3, and it's the same sort of thing. It's a nice breakaway, stressless way of gaming compared to the likes of PES or whatever you play that has a bit more intensity. PUBG for me. But playing Spider-Man before Christmas, that was the same thing for me, because it wasn't any of the pressure of the online, and it's the same thing for playing single player story kind of games as well. So that I tend to, if I play on my Switch, I'm usually just playing on my own, unless it's Fortnite or something like that, and I'm playing cross-platform with someone else. And I don't tend to do that. If I'm playing on my PlayStation, it will usually be a multiplayer element. But when I do play single player games, if you've enjoyed playing on the Switch, Vern, if you've got a PS5, I'm not sure if you've got one. I don't know how you feel about single-player games, but there's a lot in the PlayStation Plus collection that will give you that same sort of vibe, like the Uncharted's of the world and stuff like that. Maybe not... what was it you was playing for Christmas? Days Gone. Maybe not Days Gone, because Bibby got some stressful bits in that where he couldn't get past the... Did you ever get past that point?
No, I'm still stuck. That's why I started Assassin's Creed last night. I can't fucking get past it. What do you want me to do? Carry on doing it? I've done it about 70 times and I can't fucking do it.
All right, chill out, mate.
You can't. I'm not getting stressed about it or anything.
Yeah, no, all right, chill out. Whoa. It's that friggin' Streets song. Whoa, don't touch me.
I'm okay, don't touch me.
So if you got that sort of vibe from the Switch, then yeah, jump into some, like the Uncharted series. Is the Nathan Drake collection in PlayStation Plus collection?
No, I don't think it is. But Tomb Raider goes live today on PlayStation Plus, as does Maneater and Greedfall. So there's two good games, shall we say? Because I'm not sure about. I know the joke would be Greedfall or Tomb Raider, but Maneater just looks abysmal. So
it's good.
Leave that one.
Looks good.
The other two.
Yeah, it looks
okay.
Good. Jumping back through the comments, then obviously I've got back to what you said. Is that because so talking about the Switch outselling the PS5 and the Xbox? Wes said, is that because it's impossible to buy a next gen console, which Bib did read out. Gary says Sony are only making like 3 PS5s a month. At this point, it's easy to find a tame dragon unicorn. It's easy to find and tame a dragon unicorn. Maybe it is. Nintendo are smashing it with the Switch, though. Fantastic piece of hardware. It is a very good piece of hardware, though, to be fair. No mentioning of Steam and Switch in the same sentence, please. Lucas Tronic, oi mate, I have an Xbox 360 and it's epic, mate.
I love my 360. I'm not even joking.
I had 4 Xbox 360s and none of them worked by the end. So, I love the Xbox 360. I love that generation of gaming. That was, for me, the Call of Duty sort of generation, the Modern Warfares and things like that. But yeah, none of them still are alive. They're all dead somewhere. Madge says, who are these so-called experts? I mean, is that because you didn't hear the names? Or is that because you want me to try and read their names out again? Is that because their names were Ampere Analysis' Piers Harding Rolls, Canton Games' Dr. Serkan Toto, and the final one was Ice Cream Uploads, Graham_Day. There we go. Yes, I can't find the third one. The MPD Group's Matt Piscatella. There you go. So those are the experts. Bonsai says, around Christmas they were sold out most places near me, but in the end I got one from Smith's, but it wasn't my local one. I'm sure now you can get a Switch just like that. I wouldn't surprise me, because there was a huge boom for Switch around April, June, July in the first lockdown kind of time, March to July probably. like we have now for the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles, there was a huge boom. You couldn't get your hands on them. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that after a boom, you get a bust, and they're everywhere then. And I speaking about scalpers, I hope the bust happens just as scalpers go, I'm going all in. Let's get 70 consoles this week. And then the bust happens and the market saturates. And then you've got this bloke with 70 PS5s in his house and he can't sell them for the 450 that he bought them for. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. My son and daughter both have one, and my daughter has a Switch with a better battery, apparently. Gary says, I'll be all over a pro version of the Switch. Yeah, that's what Bibbs has been saying for like 2 years as well. Lockdown console sales through the roof, says Chappers. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I don't not expect this to be true. I think the Switch will outsell, and I think that could go the other way. I think the Xbox and the PlayStation could massively outsell, especially if we are locked down like we are now for a long period of time. If they can just get the numbers, if they can just manufacture and ship, if they can get the logistics right, then it could easily go the other way. The demand for them right now is instead of, oh, you know that. You don't need me to tell you. You know that. West says, I think VR will have a surge this year. Quest 2 is really good. Who else was talking about VR? Someone was talking about VR recently. I'm not quite remember who that was. Gary says, they went very quick. I think they've all gone. I wanted the X. Yeah, the X definitely went. That one went pretty quickly. The S, I couldn't even add the X to my basket, but the S, I did get a chance, but it was pre-order for the 13th of January. And I'm not that bothered about it, so I left it. I can not remember the context, but Gary says, fucking hell, babe, what a lad. Oh, is that the golf thing?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But yeah, it was a sawmill, Gary, and ask him. Yeah, it was the sawmill. I still can't be arsed. There's like 1,000 zombies. I haven't got enough ammo. I haven't got enough weapons. I just keep on dying. So I fucking give up on it and moved on. I'm not ashamed to say it. I don't think I'll ever complete it. I'm at peace with it now.
Rest in peace. Chapper says, leave it out. Lake! My bad. 7 minutes ago, Lake subbed for 3 months. Thank you very much for the resub, Lake. Welcome back, dude. Thank you very much. I've only just noticed because of the sub-hype stuff in the chat, so thank you very much for the love. Appreciate it. I'm on the hook for a PS5, says Vern, but obviously waiting for the next stock release. Yeah, I agree. We cannot have this sort of behaviour in this establishment. Fucking tunes. Anyway, fast forwarding. Good morning, Mr. T. Posture check. Okay, I will set up. Echo VR is also great and much more acceptable to play near the kids. I've never even heard of Echo VR. I don't know what that is. Gary says, by the way, if you want the perfect game experience in lockdown and own a Switch, pick up Ring Fit Adventure. Perfect for lockdown. Is it really, though?
Is it? I want to get rid of my tits.
I mean, I wasn't sure. I know it's sold, but I got like vibes of Wii Fit. And Wii Fit was like, yeah, you'll get in shape. But nobody ever lost weight playing on the Wii Fit. It was just one of those things that you thought, lose weight and play video games? Hell yes, I would love to do that.
It was more for aerobics, so wasn't it? Like, let's be honest, when you got that yoga plate or whatever it was called, that yoga board, for me, it just seemed like an aerobics board. I don't think it was.
Well, that was the Wii Fit, wasn't it? The Wii Fit balance board kind of thing. Yeah,
that's the balance board. Yeah, that's it.
We've got one in the loft still. I know of it. No, but I mean, it was just like, oh, great, I can lose weight by standing on it and playing games. Nice. Rip headphone users. It's fine. They're used to it. It's fine. Anyway, let's move forward. So, to recap, the Switch, the PS5, and the Xbox Series consoles are all expected to sell around 50 million combined, but half of that will come from the Switch, obviously making it the best selling console for 2021, according to experts' projections. Obviously, that's heavily influenced by the fact that there will be stock limitations on the Xbox and the PS5, and also potentially due to new stock coming for the Switch in not a PS5 Pro, a Switch Pro version. Anyway, speaking of PlayStation stocks and numbers being smaller than other numbers, let's have a look at this article, because I haven't read this one yet. the title is pretty interesting, though. Tom Ivan at VGC says PlayStation brand is in decisive decline in Japan, a research firm claims. This is another research firm. Let's get excited about all the names that I have to pronounce in this one. Yeah, let's go. Sony accused of not taking Japan seriously as PS5 reportedly records lowest launch sales. Interesting. I mean, just stop for a second for a bit of context. The PlayStation is a Japanese brand and has always dominated the Japanese console market. Xbox, tiny. However, Xbox put a large focus. Phil Spencer repeatedly said that they had a big focus on trying to convert a lot of the Japanese market to be Xbox players. It has had an impact on this. Let's continue. The PlayStation brand has been called in decisive decline in Japan as PS5 reportedly recorded by far the lowest launch sales of any Sony home console in the region. Citing Famitsu sales data in an article published on GamesIndustry.biz Japan, Ace Economic Research Institute and analyst Hideki Yasuda said PS5 sold some 240,000 units in Japan in its first 6 weeks of availability, less than every other PlayStation console during the same time frame, barring PSP. In comments translated and republished on Reset Era, Yasuda claimed that figures showed that Sony is not taking Japan seriously and that the PlayStation brand is in decisive decline in the company's home country. Total sales of 240,000 are by far the lowest in the history of PlayStation home consoles, the analyst wrote. If this were to continue, lifetime sales of PS5 would perhaps end up at less than half of the PS4. He added, based on this graph, can one really sense that Sony has plans for success in the Japanese market? Ace Economic Research Institute cannot see it. PS4 has sold fewer than 10 million units in Japan, according to Famitsu. While Yasuda noted that Japan's initial PS5 launch allocation was limited because of manufacturing issues, he claims the console's retail performance is nevertheless troubling. Early PS5 trends have shown that PlayStation brand in Japan is in decisive decline, and Ace Economic Research Institute cannot help but be disappointed, he wrote. Yasuda concluded, looking at the present situation, in which Sony has failed to ship enough PS5s to Japan for the year-end shopping season, we cannot help but be deeply concerned for the future of the PlayStation market in Japan. The analyst also listed a number of reasons he believes Japanese consumers feel Sony has shown disregard to the Japanese market, including the decision to change Japan's default controls to adhere to Western standards and no Japanese narration for PS5 reveal videos. A recent Bloomberg report, to which Yasuda contributed, claimed Sony's home territory was being sidelined in promotional planning for PS5 and had seen its development team slashed as the company placed more importance on the US market. The report also claimed that PlayStation's Japan studio, which co-developed games such as Bloodborne, Astro's Playroom, game and a half, by the way, and The Last Guardian, had seen the rolling contracts of many of its creators not renewed and developer support teams reduced by as much as a third from their peak. Following the report, several high-profile departures were confirmed, including Bloodborne and Demon's Souls producer Teruki Toriyama and Silent Hill and Gravity Rush creator Keiichiro Toyama. In a later interview published in Edge magazine, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan said claims the company was marginalizing Japan's role as in Iraq. There we go. Okay. The Sony stance is that the Japanese market remains incredibly important to us, he said. We have not been excited about the engagement of the Japanese game development community as we are now for many years. Ryan added, I'd also observed that we're making a statement by launching in Japan day and date with the US, and that is not what we did with the PS4. So I read that stuff. A lot of that commentary is inaccurate, and Japan, as our second largest market and as Sony's homeland, continues to be really important to us. Let's just stop there because it just seems to go back and forth over the same sort of things. PS5 and the Sony brand is in decline in Japan, according to a research firm. Bib, what are your thoughts?
Do you still have the graph up? The article with the graph in the middle.
I do now.
Right, yeah. So if you scroll to that, and I'm just trying to work this out. For looking at this graph straight off the bat, it looks like the handheld has always been king in Japan. Let's not forget that. The handheld consoles will always reign it will always be the best. I think, in my opinion, it always seems that the handheld market over in Japan does the best. Whether or not that'll be mobile phones, whether or not that'll be DS, PSP, PS Vita. I mean, obviously PS Vita on this graph is right towards the bottom, and even PS5's below it. But that's a Switch, 3DS, DS, and the Wii obviously took the world by storm. So we'll take that out as an anomaly. But yeah, I think there's a few things in play. The PS5 not being readily available for absolutely everybody around the world plays a massive part in this. Um, but I don't think this is maybe as concerning as they potentially might think, because I mean, it doesn't even mention anything about the Xbox being sold over there, and we know it's not really a Microsoft. It's not really a Microsoft territory. Let's call it that. So there isn't even any sales figures compared to what the PlayStation 5 is. But just looking at I wouldn't see this as being that concerning at this moment in time. The demand is still widespread across the world. It's just that they don't have enough. If there was enough demand and it wasn't in, and there was literally just some consoles left on the shelf over there and no one was buying it, that would be a massive cause of concern. But there isn't. So yeah, it's. Hmm. I mean, again, it did actually allude to this in the article about the button configuration being changed. I imagine that would have pissed a lot of people off as well. A country based on honor doing something like that's not exactly the best thing in the world. But yeah, I wouldn't see this as being concerning as what they're making out in this article at this moment in time. Let's have a look at it in about 3 or 4 months when we know that there's consoles circulating around the world, and then we can try and to get a good idea of it. But even look at the PS4 and that trajectory. We got to the 22nd, and it's on the same line as the Dreamcast. The PS4,
Let me have a look. Oh yeah.
and the Vita's just above that, and then the PlayStation 3 is just above that. The GameCube is above that, and the PlayStation Portable is above that. Like the Vita over in Japan now is literally just a JRPG machine. They don't play anything else. So the Vita is still only alive in Japan. It's not alive anywhere else. No one else uses. So the way that this graph is, and the way that they kind of base their decisions off the back of this graph for me is kind of redundant at that point.
Yeah, I think PlayStation brand is in decisive decline. I think it's the phrasing of it. I think it's the phrasing. Decisive decline. Ooh, got rid of the discussing error, haven't the article. There we go. Decisive decline of a brand instills fear that, okay, the brand is in decisive decline. That means that people care less for the brand. That means that okay, we were Versace's, we're now Primanis. People don't value us. People don't care about it. People won't be interested in buying and picking it up. And yeah, if you go purely off of sales figures, then that's fine. Okay, but in that case, everything has been in decisive decline since the PS2. So why bother? What? Okay, nothing has sold as much as the PS2 did. No point trying. No, just raw sales numbers. Don't. Yeah, it's not. It's too simplified. It's too simplified. The fact that it might not sell as much as its previous generation, okay, that's fine. But there's all sorts of variables. It costs, well, similar, but it costs a lot for a console these days. In terms of inflation, similar. But it costs a lot for a console these days. There is a lot more scope. Back then it was PS2 times. We got the PS2 or the Xbox. Now you've got the Switch as an alternative. PC gaming is huge. Then there's VR, which you can use without a PC. That social media and all, we all know there's different media to occupiers now. So it's not easy to have that dominating market share. Plus user behaviours. Where are they? There was comments in the chats from Gary and I said, there we go. Well, the first one is the reason it's in decline is because the PS5 is the size of an apartment in Tokyo. That's true. True story, as Asim says. But yeah, this comment from Gary. Japanese gamers are more mobile / handheld gamers these days. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't take into account any of that. I know that the Vita has sold more than the PS4. That hasn't even been factored in. Just looking at that graph, who would ever expect the Vita to sell more than the PS4? I mean, not that the Vita is a terrible console. I actually quite like my Vita. Just didn't get to use it as much as I'd like. But I would never have put it above the PS4. But that's because socio-economic changes. Economic, oh yeah, people are buying consoles, but what are the social influences on that? Like you say, mobile and handheld gaming is the priority there. So the Vita's selling more than that. It doesn't. I mean, they've ignored the fact that the Vita has sold more than the PS4. That's a story in its own. Oh no, the brand is in decline though. Yeah, of course the brand is in decline. The PSP has sold more than the PS3. What the fuck? So yeah, it definitely is an article that doesn't take in all of the factors. They've literally boiled it down to this. What it screams of to me is the ACE Economic Research Institute wanted a headline and wanted column inches for validity, so that people can get their name out. And we've had 4 different research institutes mentioned so far this morning. So ACE clearly wanted to get their name in the papers too. That's what it screams as to me. So are the consoles selling as much? No. But has that been happening for 20 years? Yeah. So is it really a problem? Nah, mate. So yeah. It's nice. It's not that big a deal. The brand is not in decisive decline. There probably is some underlying elements though, because we did cover one of the things it mentioned within this article is the analyst also listed a number of reasons he believes Japanese consumers feel Sony has shown disregard to the Japanese market, including the decision to change Japan's default controls to adhere to Western standards. We covered that about 3 months ago, was it? Maybe more. If you have, I'm about to show you a console that has no buttons on it. Nice, control that has no buttons. So in the UK, we press X to accept. In Japan, they press circle to accept, and it's vice versa. We press circle to cancel, they press X to cancel. And the idea was the Japanese way of doing things. X is a and a circle is a yeah. So it was done with the logic of the Japanese way is right. We are the ones effectively that have wrong, but Japan has changed their style to fall in line with what we've done. That's 20 years, 25 years of gaming on PlayStation consoles, and Japan has just been made to fall in line with us. I understand that it's better for continuity across the world, but that is horrendous for user experience for anyone that's been playing on PlayStation consoles for 25 years. And as Bib mentioned, Japan is a as a culture, so Japanese culture is very much based on respect and honor and integrity, and just going, actually, everything you're used to, we're going to change just because someone else wants it a different way. It kind of is a bit of a slap in the face. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is some of that. Xbox trying to create games. I mean, what was it you called the Vita? The Vita is pretty much what in Japan?
A JRPG machine.
There you go. So the Vita is pretty much a JRPG machine. Xbox understand that is a valid thing, and Xbox have been kind of leaning back into getting more JRPG content on their systems, or at least I will be looking for that for the Xbox Series consoles going forward. So on one hand, you've got Sony trying to, from a systematic point of view, make the right decisions, optimize everything, get everyone on the same level playing field, same controllers. This is fine. But you're getting rid of the human interaction, then the human element. Everyone's all the same. Yeah, but we're not. But you are. But you're not. And then you've got Xbox going, actually, no, everyone likes different things. Everyone doesn't like everything to be the same. Here's some games just for the Japanese market. I can understand that there would probably be a bit of that, but this article definitely seems clickbaity in terms of, okay, we know that there's a bit of a groundswell. How about we just throw some numbers and just say they tell the complete story when they don't really tell the complete story? So that's my 10 penneth. That's my 10 penneth. Does anyone disagree? No? Okay.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what you say. PS5 sales won't get near PS4 sales in Japan, says Gary. I reckon that's true. Mr. T says, mobile games are king in Japan. Console game in general isn't what it used to be. In terms of story, expected. PlayStation restructured with a focus on US, with a Europe as secondary focus, Asia in general an afterthought. And then Mr. T then goes on to say, them saying Japan is important to us is simply posturing. They have to. It's not really important to them anymore. US and Europe, the ones. Gary says console gaming just isn't a big thing there now, like Asim said. That's one of the reasons why they focus on other territories. Brand awareness might be down slightly in Japan for PlayStation, but in decline, no chance. Asim says the brand is still big, just the focus for PlayStation isn't Japan anymore. The button change shows that. The restructuring shows that. Not an issue for them, though. No, absolutely. Absolutely. The global market has always been US-centric. I mean, I could say that because I'm not even in the US. If I said it as a US person, it just sounds like someone with ego. But no, global marketing in that sort of sense has always been US-centric. So it kind of makes sense for them to kind of aim at that market. The only caveat is I would say keep your foot in the door of your own market. Don't be too fast to step out of that. But I'm saying that just because it's an easy, most obvious comment to say. I do not think that Sony will have by any stretch of the imagination gone, oh, do you know what? Feck the Japanese market. We'll just look at them. I mean, they won't do that. They will change their focus, but they will still keep the market open. Just like Xbox have postured themselves by saying they will look after the Japanese market with the JRPGs. But that is also posturing because they will still primarily focus on US and Europe. So yeah. There we go. When do I start, lads? Mr. 2707 Studio Manager.
Tell you what, when you beat me on the golf course, when you decide to stop hiding and play me in a round of golf, if you even come close to beating me, even though you're a better handicap than I am, and I mean the real golf course, not the digital one, then we can talk.
I don't think that's going to happen for a while because Paul doesn't step out on the golf course unless it's 17 degrees or something you said or whatever is it?
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, I mean, fair weather golfer if ever I'd heard one.
I mean, if that sounds like golf trip to Spain or something like that, I don't mind. I mean, I'm an excellent golf commentator. I mean, I'm not going to play. Fuck, I've got the golf voice nailed down. And stepping onto the green with his 72 iron is Michael Meehan from Ice Cream Uploads.
Perfect. I mean, you've nailed it, mate.
He takes his stance, grips the shaft, and gives it a nice tug back. And then he gets his golf club out. Well, that's. Okay, we knew where that was going there. So there we go. Anyway. So that.
Grips his pants.
Yeah. Shall we move on to a new article? I think we'll move on to a new article. That sounds good. Yeah, nice. I'll play off my knees, give you a chance, mate.
Excuse me?
It's still beat. Easy, Tiger. Woof! I know we're talking about ripping the pants off, but woo! Wes says, would the Saints win go in favour for the job applications? Yeah, absolutely. Anything that is pro-United is very, very pro-Jelly. We do have, like a care in the community outreach program where we do take some like City fans and stuff on board. But yeah, it's generally a United business. So I mean, that's why Bibby works here. You've seen him all holding up his United shirt. I can share the picture again if somebody hasn't seen it. Anyway, let's move on. Bibby's United fan. Sorry, just that. Next article written by Charlie Hall at Polygon says the Stalker 2 team. By the way, if anyone heard a noise, then that was me headbutting the mic. You are welcome. The Stalker 2 team dropped a new teaser trailer on the last day of 2020. The in-engine video highlights first-person experience. I'm going to hit play on the video and mute it. Oh, it's already muted. Nice. Thank you, YouTube. You know what I like. That's what she said. Details about Stalker 2 have been few and far between since the game was formally revived in early 2018. But in the waning hours of 2020, developers GSC Game World released a new trailer highlighting the game's first-person experience. GSC said in a news release on December 31st that the trailer represents how the game actually feels. Fast-paced change of scenery, ominous landscapes, and the ever-present feeling of an inevitable danger, accompanied by a barely distinguishable guitar soundtrack. According to the description on YouTube, the trailer is short, entirely in-engine, and through the eyes of the player character, a stalker named Skiff. Excuse me. A previous trailer showing multiple interior and exterior environments was released in July during the Xbox Games Showcase, which me and Jordan covered, and Bibby wasn't around for because he said, fuck this shit, I'm out. Anyway, the final game is slated for Windows PC and Xbox Series X, where it will be a console launch exclusive. It will also be a part of the Xbox Game Pass program. The first game of the Stalker series, Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, was released in 2007 and remains one of the most well-regarded FPS games of all time, unless you've watched Bibby play it on Ice Cream Uppers. The critically acclaimed series, which includes Stalker Clear Sky and Stalker Call of Pripyat, is also the precursor of the modern open-world sandbox genre. Stalker 2 was previously in production in 2011 when GSC Game World was dissolved suddenly and unexpectedly. That event led to an exodus of creative talent that Polygon documented when we travelled to Ukraine in 2013. Among the studios that spun out of GSC are 4A Games, makers of the Metro series, and that studio is now headquartered in Malta following a long period of unrest in Ukraine. Bib!
Yeah.
As a man that played Stalker, I literally, the game came out in 2007, and I hadn't heard about this game until 2020 when Bibby said, I'm playing a game called Stalker. I was like, I've literally never even heard of that. It could be a film, it could be an old NES game for all I know. So Bibby streamed it. Was it the 2007 game that had been remastered?
No. So it was a 2007 game, but I just put all the mods on to try and make it look a little bit more modern. Essentially the way that I played it, but it's just a terrifying. It's like a survival horror game, but in first person. Obviously around the Chernobyl area, all the radiation, all the supersize animals and creatures and stuff like that. So it is just a fantastically terrifying game. And I've been waiting for the second one to come out for what feels like the longest time. So yeah, I can't wait.
So I did play the trailer. I will put it back on screen. I'll hit play on the trailer again so you guys can see it. It does look very good. I don't want to play it with audio, just because DMCA.
I don't think there's any music in it. Let me play it again.
Well, it mentioned an almost indistinguishable guitar soundtrack. Yeah, there's definitely music in it. I'm just not going to bother playing it just in case.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
it's
visually.
You see yourself playing it?
What's that?
It's coming out on console. Don't forget. Do you see yourself playing it?
No, not yet.
That was a very decisive no.
Yeah, the only reason it was a decisive no is because it's a console launch exclusive on Xbox Series X, and I do not have capacity to play Xbox Series X games. So, yes, no. Well,
Xbox Game Pass program, it could be on PC.
Oh, that's true. It does say PC.
It is on PC.
So yeah, maybe then in that case, maybe if it's just on Xbox Series of consoles, I do not have an Xbox Series console, so no. But looking at it, looked very, very good. I like games that have like this bit here, 17, 18 seconds in, where you see the trees falling down outside, and you've got the mixture, like the lighting looks incredible. That looks good enough for me. Yep. I'd play that. The fact that it's not on a PlayStation, maybe not, but the fact that it's if it does come to PlayStation eventually, yes. If I get an Xbox console before then, yeah, maybe too. So yeah. I would be open to playing that. We can play some co-op and get scared shitless on stream.
I can't wait. My body is ready. My soul is not. Yeah, I'll repeat that again for those of you at the back. My body is ready. My soul is not.
Bibby may have just been talking while I muted my mic and blew my nose. That's fine. It's fine.
And says face cam. Well, you've got two now.
Yeah.
Says welcome to a new Stalker, and then Batman.
Batman. Well, that's his actual name. I mean, we don't like to mention it because a lot of people think he's like Bruce Wayne, and he's put a lot of effort, Bruce Wayne, bless him, into trying creating that identity. But it's actually just Bib. He is the Batman. The Italian Batman.
The fattest Batman you've ever seen in your life, and I've never seen a ginger
one. Gary says, I've never played Stalker. I might sneak a look. I don't know if any of our content will still be on. Bibby did stream it maybe
a long time ago.
Maybe 9 months-ish, something like that. And it obviously looked like a 2007 game that had been up-resed a little bit with the mods and stuff that it's put on. It did actually look decent, to be fair. Hints of the I mean, I don't want to say PUBG because that's a very me thing to say, but the style, the vehicles, the greenery and stuff like that, it's Erangel PUBG-ish.
Yeah, essentially that. It's like, did anyone ever watch the series Chernobyl?
Yes.
If anyone watched that, and if you played through Modern Warfare 2, no, the original Modern Warfare, wasn't it?
Yes, where you start off in Chernobyl. This place is a ghost town.
Yeah.
Used to be 20,000, or it used to be 20,000 people lived here, and now it's a ghost town, or whatever it says, something like that.
Yeah, there's just no paint left on the wall. Everything's been stripped back. It's just a wasteland. Very Fallout 4-ish, or any Fallout really. But yeah, it's a fantastic game, terrifying. Actually, a really long game. If you want to sink in hours into stuff, then definitely pick it up. The original Stalker is like next to nothing, and then there's 3 different expansion packs. One of them, Shadow of Chernobyl, Shadow of Pripyat, and something else I can't remember. But yeah, you can pick them up for literally next to nothing if you've got an old PC and even a new one, you'll be able to play them. With fantastic games.
Asim says regarding Stalker 2, I've been ... following this game for a while. Hey, I see what you did there. I see what you didn't there, more likely, actually.
He's saving these over holidays, Anna.
Well, this did come out on the 31st, so he's probably watched it and sat there waiting for us to cover it since. I know.
Rubbing his hands together.
It's happening, boys! Aaron Barnes says PES or FIFA. Both. Neither. It depends. Depends on mood. I'm generally PES. But FIFA's good for different things too. So yeah, both. What about you? Stalker, Modern Warfare, and Metro trilogy for the atmosphere. Yeah, Metro, definitely Metro.
Massive Metro fan from that Stalker trailer.
Yeah. Not so much when you're fully underground in Metro, but there's a lot of Metro. The good thing with Metro is it's not all just you're in the dark. There's so many different atmospheres and stuff. It is really good. One of the most visually stunning games for the last 10 years at Metro. I forget. Like when people say what are your games, like even the other day we released a video on Christmas Day on our YouTube, exclamation mark YouTube in the chat, by the way, that
on. Oh yeah, it's on there. Yeah, I see it. It's working.
Yeah, exclamation mark YouTube will give you our YouTube. We put a video up on YouTube on Christmas Day which talked about our games of the last decade, and Metro didn't even get a sniff, but Metro definitely was one of those sort of moments. We worked with Koch Media to do the social media for Metro Last Light. Is it Last Light? Yeah, Metro Redux, and what was the new one? I can't remember it now. Anyway, all the Metros. So we did social content, but I think it was Metro Last Light when it first came out on PC. This was long before my days of being a PC gamer. Mark in the office has kind of my setup now, so I'll show you my setup. Don't know if the cameras will catch it. So this is my setup, 3 screens. So Mark had a 3-screen setup and obviously went full ultra settings, super high res on everything, and then did the screen capture so that we could share it for social media content, and it just looked absolutely incredible. And this is going back to like 2013 kind of thing, 8 years back, and seeing like image super widescreen, super high def, super detailed, and I'm there playing on my PS3 like, this is amazing. So yeah, Metro, and even now still holds up, especially if you get the Redux, which is obviously the remastered versions. Then yeah, definitely very good. Fortnite or COD? Both. Again, you very rarely will get an answer from me from the ors or ors when it comes to video games, because usually they'll give you different things. Unless one of them I just don't like, then I will probably choose the other by default. But yeah, Fortnite or COD, both. SWOS or KO2? What's
Sensible World of Soccer?
I see. I was Sensei. I instantly went Star Wars order stuff. Pepsi or Coke? Generally a Coke, but I don't mind a Pepsi either. So
you know what this exchange reminds me of? Have you seen Uncle Buck?
Yes.
Where John Candy and Macaulay Culkin are doing. What do you do as a job? Many things. He's just doing that. You ask all the questions. I'm a kid. Doing my job.
Have you watched Uncle Buck recently, Bib?
I have, yeah. It was on ITV over Christmas.
I was going to say that's very good recollection, if not.
So much.
It just when I think of Uncle Buck, I just think of that woman's weird knee dance, where she's like. If you've not seen Uncle Buck, then that weird dance won't mean anything to you. And if you're listening on audio demand, then that, do you know what? You probably the silence was better. Let's put it that way. M&Ms or Smarties?
M&Ms.
I can answer that one. Yeah. Peanut M&Ms. Even the crunchy M&Ms are good. Smarties. I don't mind Smarties because Smarties. But yeah, M&Ms generally. Bibby or Graham? Oof. Both answer. Metro games are amazing. Pretty sure some ex-Stalker devs on that team. Yeah, well, they did mention in the article GSC Game World was when it was dissolved. Among the studios that spun out of GSC are 4A Games, which are the makers of the Metro series. So yeah. It's my kid. It's my kid. I'm a job. Nope. I'm a kid. It's my job. There we go. Bibby, show setup. You can see Bibby's setup. It's all behind him. He's got a Baby Yoda in it. Nice.
Mm-hmm. I haven't got a camera that pans over my desk like Gray has. So you just have to take my word for it. It's okay.
Yeah. It's good. JXS77 says, what are your opinions on the Xbox Series X and the PS5? Well, we can't really make those opinions. I would say they're good. Nice. The only reason we can't make those opinions is because we both have a PS5 and neither of us have a Series X. But the PS5, I think is great in terms of. I do have issues with it, if I'm being honest. My issues though aren't the PS5 as such. It's what the PS5 doesn't have. So if I switch back to my alternate cam again, I have a PS4 Pro sat there. And when I play PUBG, which is a game I play a lot, I play it on this. And the reason being that I can use... I mean, I'm not using them now, but I can use my Astro headset and mix amp through the PS4 Pro. The PS5 doesn't have a digital optical cable, which means that you're having to use a digital splitter to use the digital optical cable. So you plug your HDMI cable in and it splits your audio and your video and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, it creates lag in the feed. So what you're seeing on the screen is is a little bit lagging behind when it's actually happening. Anyway, long story short, that's a bit shit. So if you can use a headset that doesn't use digital opticals or HDMI adapters, then the PS5 is exceptional. Loads exceptionally quickly, really quiet, doesn't sound like a jet engine. When I put a smoke grenade down in PUBG, I don't think my house is going to explode, so that's nice. But yeah, I can't say anything about the Xbox Series X, but from all intents and purposes, that's good too. Get them both. Or not, get one, whatever. Fine. What about your thoughts, Bib? What are your opinions on the Xbox Series X and the PS5? Have you had any issues with your PS5 since you got it? Anything that stands out?
Not really. It crashed a few times when I first got it, but that was it. I think that was widely reported, wasn't it? That the day one updates was crashing some people's consoles, and it did crash mine the first day. But yeah, it's been perfectly fine. I'm playing it every single day. Yeah, it serves the purpose of what it bought it for, to play fucking games.
Yeah, if you've got a PS4, then it's your PS4, but better. Because there isn't anything that's fully testing next gen. We kind of assumed Cyberpunk would be that game. Not yet. Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Remastered both look incredible. I wouldn't say they're the step up that you'd expect for next gen just yet, but they do look incredible. Using ray tracing and things like that definitely looks better than last gen, but it's not the full next gen experience that you want. So yeah, they are your last gen consoles, but better right now. That's the simplest way I can explain it. It's probably a bit too simple, but you get the point. Gary has both as well, but after many hours with the PS5, makes noise now and again. Makes noise now and again. Okay, Series X, I don't even know it's on when playing. The PS5 system UI needs improving too. Easier access to key stuff like friends, parties, trophies, etc. The Series X might have the same UI as before, but works street. Hope Sony improve things. I agree with the UI actually. I'm still having issues with the switch between long press and short press. When I want to turn my PS5 off, I hold my PlayStation button, and then it brings up the menu. So then you have to just tap the button to go to the that will come with time. And how difficult is that for me to get used to? And that's just something like that I only use when I'm turning it off. Imagine being in Japan where the button that you use to interact with everything has changed. So you can see why Japan would be a bit pissed at having to use X for accept rather than circle now. But yeah, I agree. Things like opting, jumping into parties and things like that. They've got these tiles to get into games to make things super easy. They need that similar sort of mentality for the other functions as well. I completely agree. It's a PS4 minus the video storefront. Yeah, pretty much. Which is not a bad thing. I didn't mind my PS4, so yeah, nice. Anyway, jump into the final article of the day. Let's get rid of the discussing now. There we go. Final article of the day, which is a little bit different from what we've had so far. This was written by Tom Phillips at Eurogamer, and it says, Epic Games buys a shopping mall to convert into new headquarters. The tagline, Tilted Towers. Gotta love the tagline. Yeah, nice. That's not even Wedgie and Pool. That's Tom Phillips. He's stepping it up. That's what we like to see. Tom start a new year, new me. When most people pop to the shops, they pick up a few things. When Epic Games goes shopping, it buys the local mall. This week, Epic agreed to purchase Carey Town Centre, a 980,000 square foot site just down the road from its current home in Carey, North Carolina. The vast complex will become Epic's new home campus, which will open in 2024 after a 3-year plan to refurbish and rebuild the area. I'm hoping for some statues of Fortnite fave Fishstick. That is huge. So while Epic owned the site, some of it may still be given over for use by the local community, the company said. Epic moved to Carey in 1999 after initially being founded as Potomac Computer Systems in Tim Sweeney's parents' house in Potomac, Maryland. The company now says it has 50 offices worldwide, which variously run the hugely successful Fortnite, develop Unreal Engine, and operate the Epic Games Store. If you want to take a look at how the largely empty Carey Town Centre looks currently, there are plenty of pictures over on the strangely interesting Dead Malls Reddit. There you go. So there you go. A little bit. Do you know what? I'm going to click it. Actually, do you know, I'm going to take it off because, you know, you never know. Not safe for Twitch, maybe. Click on the Dead Malls Reddit and have a look. No, we look reasonably good. So this is what.
That's a nice little Reddit, that.
Yeah, there's loads of Reddits that do that kind of thing. Like the where are we? There we go.
Yeah, I love all that stuff. I like watching them exploring YouTube channels.
Okay, taking too long. The first one worked perfectly. The second one's like clicks out to Duff sites. Get out of here.
Basically, they're building this just as their brand new pretty playground, aren't they? And it just shows how much obviously money that they're making. But this is amazing. Like, this is literally, it is a fairground playground. Some kids like dream to be able to have all of his friends, colleagues, or whatever all work in the same building. I can't imagine. Like, imagine, for instance, we scale up, right, to be Epic, and then we go and buy the Trafford Centre. How long would it take to get from one side of the Trafford Centre to the other to go and have a meeting with someone or something? That's exactly what this looks like. It's mental, but massive. Like, it's so cool. Like, there's no, you can't even spin this in a bad way. This is so cool.
I mean, I would 100% have like little ice cream branded golf carts and stuff for us to razz back as a pro.
There'll be people on scooters. It'd be like what Google's portrayed to be like when everyone's going around on skateboards and scooters and stuff like that.
It's pretty cool. It just seems huge. So jumping back to the article, I'll bring it back on screen. So think. I'll take it off a second. Think of an office block. the amount of teams, the amount of different, like, so obviously different development studios, they'll have artists, they'll have social media teams, they'll have operations teams, they'll have the board of directors and things like that. But all of that will just fit in one of these buildings. This whole thing, so this is where I was looking to bring it on. This whole thing is, does the picture get bigger? Yeah. So there's a Foot Locker there, there's an AT&T store there, there's a bank there, there's another thing there. There's an on the border Mexican grill and cantina just over the road. Nice. But then there's like so many different centers and things like that. You kind of think like any one of those would be enough. I mean, I know they are consolidating and saying that they will put in the teams from Epic Games, the teams that do the developing, the teams working on individual games and so on. Just still seems like 50 officers worldwide. It still seems it's either gonna be.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say it's either gonna be when you see those like fairgrounds that have been left unused for 20 years. It's either gonna be that in 20 years' time, Epic's estate is just gonna look shite, or it's gonna be just the absolute aspiration for video game businesses. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, how big did it say the acres was? Did it say like how big the
980,000 square foot?
Right, so you've got to think then that they're going to have some franchises inside there. You can absolutely see there's going to be like a McDonald's. I imagine how many people are going to be working there. There's going to be like maybe 2,000 people, if not more, that are going to be working inside this building. So they're going to have stuff like Taco Bell, McDonald's, and then a cafe or whatever. There might even be a Foot Locker. Do you know what I mean? They might even be able to sell the retail space to some people to be able to come in, build franchises, get money that way. And they said that they're going to leave some of it open to the community as well. So you can absolutely see there's going to be like a Fortnite trampoline park or something like that built inside there, so people can just come in and mess around, and there'll be like a fun fair or whatever shit in there. But Epic can literally do whatever they want. This is probably one of the coolest things that I've ever seen in my life, because I can absolutely see some 10-year-old kid 30 years ago, whoever it might be, thinking that one day they may be able to own something as cool as this, and then someone's just building the dreams, and you can't not be happy for someone with that, because it's just amazing.
I mean, I petition that when I arrive at my desk every morning at Epic Games headquarters, that I don't have a door that I open. There's like a bamboo looking wall in front of me that I have to like pickaxe my way through it just to get to sit down. Okay, let me sit down at the desk. That's nice.
Going in your Mandalorian's armor.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've got my Iron Man helmet. Oh, there we go. That's it. Last season's Star Wars. This season's Star Wars. Last season's Avengers and stuff. So yeah.
Oh God, I can't see this, but you bet you lot are having a field day with this.
My hat doesn't fit on my head.
No way. Have you got the mask on? It sounds like you've got the mask on.
No. No. Oh, I've got full on shower hat hair while we get. What's this giving? Yeah, look at the fringe. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love this. I do love this idea. I mean, Epic have been quite frivolous with their cash in good ways. So when they've been frivolous with the cash on the Epic Games Store, there's always been an element of that's building for future success. That they've been splashing the cash and giving free games because they want more regular users. They want you coming back. They want you to be a regular user on the Epic Games Store. It's nice to see them continue that cash splashing on their own teams, though. If they build something that could be potentially huge like this, then yeah, that's a sign of a company that's looking to expand beyond what they are. I mean, not that Fortnite isn't an absolute runaway success, but every runaway success has a sell-by date, a use-by date.
Yeah.
And Epic are aware of that. Obviously, they had success with the likes of... It was Epic that created Gears of War, wasn't it, right?
Aye.
So Epic being is it Potomac or Potomac or whatever it is, computer systems in Tim Sweeney's house in Maryland, to this company that creates Gears of War at the start of the 360 generation, to this company that creates Fortnite, a runaway success, the company that creates the Epic Games Store that even gives you a GTA for free. That's how big they are. They're now stepping out to building something like this. That makes me ask the question of what can we expect from Epic Games? Because yeah, fair enough. We have the Epic Games Store, which is a huge development fee creating a store of that size. Not anyone can do that, but they made their dime.
Your audio's gone. Josh just said that you're like a robot.
Let me check.
Robot.
Yeah, audio has gone. In fact, okay, let me see if changing scenes fixes it. Testing. No. Fuck's sake. Okay. I have just refreshed the scene. And I don't actually know when I'm back either. So nice. Okay. Oh. I think we're back. Nice. Yeah. Yes. Nice. Okay. Yeah. The question I was saying though is, Epic have gone on to develop the Epic Games Store, which is a huge development fee. But in terms of development of games, that is their bread and butter. They do develop games. So what are we going to say? Oh, does that mean if they're committing to stuff like this, does that mean they are committing to give us more games? I mean, they're always going to make more games, but is this a signal of intent that we will get more soon?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. Wes says it's not a proper ice cream upload stream without audio issues. Absolutely. I am so close to binning off Streamlabs and just going to OBS because of stuff like that. I love how useful Streamlabs is. In this one screen, I have my mini feed so I can see all the subs and stuff like that. I have my equalizer plus my scenes and my sources set up plus Twitch chat all in one screen. But it's so frustrating. So many bugs in it. So many bugs. God damn it. Anyway. So yeah, Epic Games. Exterminate. Oh, it's not started again, has it? Or is that just a...
I don't think so. No, he's just taking the piss.
Nice. Okay, we will wrap things up then, since you're taking the piss. If that's how it's going to be. Let's finish it off. If that's how you're going to be, then do you know what? I'm going. I don't even care, mate.
My ball and going home.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another episode of The Scoop. Much appreciate having you in. Eternal Steph, Daddy Plays Hard, what a name. Thomas, Adam, and Lake, thank you very much for the follows and the subs this morning. Very much appreciate you all. Obviously, Thomas, Adam, and Lake, if you haven't, we've mentioned it already, make sure you're in Discord. And make sure you have your Discord and Twitch accounts linked in Discord. Because if you do that, you will get access to the loot drop, and you could win yourself a free game today. Because we'll draw the loot.
Is in. I can see him. Thomas doesn't yet.
Thomas, I don't know if you're still here. Make sure you go in. Graham sounds like a Poundland Wally. I've just seen the comments. Wally. So yeah, thank you very much for the shout-outs, dudes. Very much appreciated. Please don't go. Don't you walk away? What song is this? Don't you walk away? I don't know. Not that often I can catch you live. Enjoyed it. Thanks, fellas. No, thank you very much, Vern. It's nice to have you here. Especially if people call me a Poundland Wally and you're laughing at it. It's fine. Whatever. Don't even care, mate. Yeah, we will disappear. We are going to be back tomorrow with another episode, though. Just like I say, a reminder, the loot drop will be drawn a little bit later on today. So if you're in Discord, you will get the messages in the loot drop. If you're not in the loot drop, you won't see them. You don't have to worry about it. So we will draw it within there. We'll pick the winner, and we will tell you who has won the game. So yeah, that's it. Nice. Anyway, before we go, babe, anything you want to add?
Yes, of course. As always, if you do see any video game news knocking around the social media platform of your choice, there is two ways you can get hold of us. First of all, find us on social media. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms. Second of all, get us in our Discord. There's an area in there called The Scoop. All we need from you is the URL and your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show. What time tomorrow, Mr. Graham?
It'll be at 10 a.m. Ish. Always the ish. 10 a.m. ish. Obviously, just to remind you, if you don't know why we say ish, drop any emotes in the chat as well, because ish. We have real jobs. I say we have. Baby does at the moment. I'm not in work. I'm still off. So la la la. But we do have real jobs, so we go live whenever we can. So we aim for 10 a.m. Sometimes it might be post 10. Sometimes it might be after 11. Ish. The best way to get notified though is to have your notifications turned on the channel, on Twitch, or on social media. We do tweet out when we go live on Twitter as well, so that way you will be notified when we go live. Nice. Until then, until tomorrow at least. Anyway, if we don't stream again, have yourselves a fantastic day. And baby, what have you got to do?
Guys, you gotta stay frosty.
Yeah.